So today I want to talk about how the Big 12 is playing better defense than the SEC. Fight me. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Mom, I'm working. I'm recording. What is it? That's not a text? Oklahoma Sooners coach Lincoln Riley didn't want to sound like a curmudgeon on Monday during his weekly press conference when he talked about the defense, but he was quite clear about Alex Grinch's unit having yet to play its best football.
I don't know that there's been one moment, and I think we got to be careful with is, it was a great game. It was one game though, or 2 days ago. It was one game, and we did some great things. I definitely think we have improved in some areas, without a doubt. I think it's just been a process. It's been, making the hires that we did, and then getting those guys implemented, those guys getting schemes implemented. Again, I know you guys have got tired of me talking about it, but so much about it is just between the ears with our players and the mentality and the way we play, and that doesn't just happen overnight, and we're still not certainly there yet by any stretch, but we're improving. We're heading down the right road. We can, as good as a win as we had last week, and a lot of great moments on all three sides. There's still we're still not operating anywhere near the way we feel like we can play, and so we still got to take steps. But it's people have worked hard, and it certainly defensively showed up in a big way the other day, and we're going to keep getting better because we're going to continue to get tested more and more.
And they'll face better defenses than much of the nation will give the Big 12 credit for in their next 6 games, and have faced one of its best already. But if you look closely, you'll see some of the best defenses and defenders in the country play in OU's league. Through 6 games, Texas Tech has 2 of the best individual defensive players in all of football. Tech defensive back Douglas Coleman III leads the nation in interceptions with 6. Tech linebacker Jordyn Brooks ranks 3rd in the country with 11 tackles per game. West Virginia defensive back Keith Washington ranks 6th in the nation with 3 picks and 6th in the country with nearly 2 passes defended up per game. He'll face quarterback Jalen Hurts in one of the nation's best offenses on Saturday in Norman. Baylor defensive lineman James Lynch has put together 8.5 sacks and ranks 2nd in the nation in that stat. That's the same number of stats as Ohio State's defensive end Chase Young has amassed the same amount, and he is about to be a consensus mock draft first-round pick if he isn't already. Brooks, Lynch, and Texas Christian linebacker Garrett Wallow all rank inside the top 10 in the nation in tackles for loss. Iowa State has the same amount of defensive touchdowns this season as number 3 ranked Clemson and number 10 ranked Georgia. See where I'm going here? Kansas State ranks number 2 and Oklahoma ranks number 9 in third down defense. TCU ranks 16th and is holding opponents to 30.6% third down conversion rate, which means there are 3 Big 12 members holding teams to less of a chance of converting third downs than SEC members number 1 Alabama, number 2 LSU, number 10 Georgia, number 11 Auburn, number 22 Missouri, and Texas A&M. As a matter of fact, no SEC team ranks inside the top 10 in third down defense through the halfway point of the season. TCU ranks number 1 in first down defense, and K-State is tied with Clemson for 4th in the country. Baylor and K-State rank inside the top 25 in scoring defense, and Oklahoma is holding strong at 31st. Baylor and Oklahoma rank in the top 10, in the top 10 in team sacks. OU is tied with Clemson at 10th with that stat. Texas Tech has forced 12 turnovers this season, which is tied with Michigan, 1 short of Ohio State and 2 short of Notre Dame. And if you want to measure OU against LSU with Texas as a common opponent, you get some staggering notes. The Longhorns put up 530 yards of offense against a number 2 ranked and undefeated team in the Bayou Bengals, and over 400 yards passing while picking up 8 of 15 third downs and scoring 38 points. The Sooners held Texas 310 yards of offense and only 210 yards passing and 6 of 15 on third down. Now, credit Grinch with that dramatic first half stat to the season, but punctuated it with the best defensive game the Sooners have played against a ranked opponent in years. His philosophy for coaching and coaching defense is simple and forthright, and he says it honestly here.
Well, I think what it is people talk about culture, and then it's the ecosystem. It's everything. It's the air you breathe in that building, and trying and at the risk of sounding too dramatic, but since this defensive staff got together in January, it's just been an onslaught on our part to try to instill it, and it's a daily conversation amongst coaches and players. Obviously, it's a weight room mindset with Coach Wiley in there. You can't wait till spring football to start, and then when spring football comes around, you got to be willing to have some tough days and really have honest conversations about what's good enough. You got to break them and build them at the exact same time. Say it's not good enough, but we can be good enough. And then you certainly can't take the summer months off. So it's not one talk, it's not 1 week, it's none of those things, but it's all of those things. And so that is something that as a defensive coaching staff and obviously a head coach that believes in some of the things that we're doing. It's a daily, and it's something that the minute we stop, it goes the other way, and so that's you're never fixed, you're never there. Again, football's hard, and playing defensive football in 2019 is extremely difficult. So something we got to continue.
All of those things have helped OU start 6-0, and you're getting a national eyebrow raise because it seems OU is playing championship defense. Now, with championship defense also comes everybody wanting to know if Alex Grinch is going to remain put. And Bruce Feldman wrote a long article taking a look at head coaches and assistants who might be in line for jobs. He has tied Alex Grinch to Michigan State should it become open. Mark D'Antonio might be run out on a rail, not just because Michigan State dropped a really terrible game to Ohio State, but also because, well, they're embroiled in scandal after scandal in Michigan State, and they need the slate wiped clean. You've also got Shane Beamer, son of Frank Beamer, tied to Old Dominion should that job come open or another MAC job of that sort. But that's how it's always going to be at places like Oklahoma. Just take a look at Alabama. It's a revolving door for assistant coaches. But at Oklahoma, what has been cool to watch is how Lincoln Riley has kept that staff together and added to it. He has been able to pay people. He has been able to give them the right title to keep them happy. And that offensive group in particular has been one to watch, right? Because you got Cale Gundy to go along with Shane Beamer, to go along with Jay Boulware, to go along with Dennis Simmons, to go along with, of course, Bill Bedenbaugh. And if you're ranking them, you're not necessarily putting Shane Beamer at the top of the list, but you understand he's been invaluable to Oklahoma in special teams play. And he brought with him this thirst for scouting and recruiting H-backs and tight ends. And Oklahoma's been really, really good with H-backs and tight ends. And he is a motivator. He's a capable guy. He has taken on every role but offensive coordinator. He's waiting on a head coaching job. And I could see him taking off after this year if the right job came available. As for Grinch, I think it's going to have to be a wait and see. They win a Big 12 championship. They make a college football playoff. I don't think he's one and done. I think he's going to be a lot like Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley in that he wants a championship. He wants to do it at Oklahoma. Now, is he from Ohio? Of course he's from Ohio, right? But we got a lot of dudes that are from Ohio that would love to be able to get home. We were talking about Matt Campbell, perhaps. Maybe he would want to take a jump from Iowa State. I know they want to keep him locked up, but if a job came available, maybe that's a dude to talk to. Now, this is going to keep happening, and since we're at the midway point and we've already seen Chris Ash get fired from his job at Rutgers, and you got to start throwing people out there to see who might take that job, even as it seems like Greg Schiano is the shoe-in, you really have to take a look and ask yourself, do you want the Rutgers job? Can you do better? If you're Mike Norvell at Memphis, what job are you actually waiting on? If they decided to move on from Matt Luke at Ole Miss, would you take the job? If your man's Derek gets fired out at Vandy, who's going to take the job? Perhaps you want to go get Jeff Monken and run a little triple option. Or maybe you want to go to Rutgers and run a little triple option because nobody wants to defend that. Oh yeah, they tried that at Georgia Tech. It worked for a little bit and then they got caught up with, and now we got a dude that is retired rather than continue to run the triple option at Georgia Tech. It's a thing that happens. Assistants want to move up. They want to cash in. They want to get their checks. But you better pick the right job because the job you have might be the best one that you get. All right, that's it for me. There's